Okay. What do you say we get this show started?
Okay, for the most part right now.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Hernandez, and I am very, very happy to welcome everybody. First of all, to wish you an early happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that stuff. And to thank you all those of you who are here to read. Thank you for your courage and your willingness to get up and kind of expose yourself, metaphorically speaking, please. Yes. We are in a public library, okay? But this is, you know, we who do this and who have done this before know that this is the hard part. This is one of the hard parts of being a writer. You know, sometimes, well, a lot of times, it's easier to kind of be that private person behind the computer or behind the pen, that part of the writing process, the creating process, is a lot easier to do sometimes than the public part, which is to stand up here and say, "Here I am." You know, even selling your book, putting your book out there, somebody can read that from a distance, but for you to stand up here and share your creativity, it can be a challenge. So congratulations to everybody for stepping forward tonight, and for those who are still thinking about it, there will be a number 4, so you'll have another chance to do that, and we're excited for that. For those who don't know, Right On started about 3 years ago as a small group out in Manuka, and came to Joliet here a few years back. We've been meeting here for about 2 years, and we are kind of an eclectic collection. Don't try to say that too many times, you'll hurt yourself. An eclectic collection of writers of different skill sets and experience levels and genres, and we meet twice a month, the first and third Thursdays, generally speaking. We are open to the community, and we welcome everybody to come on in. We learn from each other, we teach each other. Mostly we just have fun and laugh, and that's the key part for everything. So if that ever stops, I'm out of here. So please feel free to join us if you don't already. Tonight we've got 10 folks who have signed up to share something, at least one something. In one case it was supposed to be 2 somethings, but now it's 1 something. But, so we're going to have fun and go at this. And we're going to start tonight with Sharon Houk. Sharon is one of our newer members. Sharon lives in Joliet. Yay, give her the jazz hands. Yeah. To go with the pink scarf, I love it, it's beautiful. Sharon says she's been writing since she can remember. That's the good news. The bad news is she can only remember since yesterday. But other than that, she's okay. Mostly she writes short stories and poetry. She's now working on a play. And tonight she's going to be reading a piece of flash fiction. It was published in the Cove Review entitled Tigers on the Savannah.
Thank you. Okay, so I hope I can project over the coffee machine in the back. So if I'm too loud, you just have to forgive me. Tigers on the Savannah. The baby's on the roof, Charlotte said. I looked up to see my wife of 9 years, frozen like a statue, with a long, slender finger pointing out of the open balcony door. I took long, measured CEO strides toward the door, and in my best, just-in-time management voice said, "What's going on here, honey?" We didn't make a habit of allowing the baby on the roof. The baby was an idea that sprang from a bottle of 2-hand Shiraz and Charlotte's inability to remember if it was 1 or 2 days that she had forgotten to take the pill. Our Sunday afternoons had hitherto been spent reading the New York Times and playing with kitchen gadgets. After the baby was born, it was pretty much the same with minor interruptions. The change came recently and ferociously with the advent of crawling. Nothing was safe. The Chihuly glass pieces had to be removed for safekeeping. The pendant flowers of the Clivia mirabilis luckily didn't taste good, so the baby had only eaten 2. The pediatrician had said, "Is she blue or lethargic?" No? Then she's okay. Now, with a view of the roof, I froze dead in my tracks next to Charlotte. as if I too, a fellow traveler, had run across Medusa in exactly the same spot in the living room. But the scene before us was worse than Medusa. Our baby was crawling blissfully along a strip of roof about as wide as a cat's paw. If we attracted her attention, she would surely turn and fall to her 3-story townhouse death. "Call George, call George, call George, call George!" I screamed in a tiny voice like a cat chattering at a window. George was my older brother, practical. He had 3 dogs. "He asks if the baby ate lunch," Charlotte stage whispered. "What the hell does that have to do with it?" I tiny cat screamed. "He thinks she'll come in if she's hungry," whispered Charlotte encouragingly. "Hang up," I said. I stared out the balcony door. "My mother is calling the fire department," offered Charlotte. "Why do you call your mother? You always call your mother." "You always call George." The baby sat and blinked in the sunshine. Charlotte had dressed her in a little red polka-dotted dress that had matching socks, one of which we could barely make out on the courtyard flagstone. Her tiny toes tested the air. She pulled off her other sock, tasted it, and threw it. It stuck to the underside of her arm. "Sometimes George helps," said Charlotte. "Sometimes your mother helps," I said, though it wasn't true. The baby turned her upper body like an owl turns its head and nimbly directed her knees balcony bound. Charlotte and I slunk like tigers out onto the balcony, and when the polka-dotted adventurer was near, we gently called, "Elizabeth." We were safely together on the savannah called the living room rug when the firemen showed up.